Super Dave here with another exciting review with episode 16 of figures, accessories, and playsets that work well with Motu Classics and Revelation action figures. And today we've got actually three action figures specifically, and if you want to count a horse an action figure, that's fine. I'm going to count him as kind of an accessory or vehicle, but he is that Mythic Legion awesome horse that's fully articulated, as well as three Combatant Fight for Glory by the company XesRay. And we have three action figures: Medicus Reaper, Kanuba Hyena, and Branthok Devilfish. And we're going to be breaking these guys open and checking them out. Let's very quickly look at the package on one of them because they're pretty much the same. These are part of a mythos by XesRay, and kind of that, medieval times and barbarian times type time period. You see a shot of him there fully garbed with his armor. There's a bio on the side that explains the story behind this. Kind of like Mythic Legions, this has its own stories with gladiators and arenas and various things. And then there's a bio of this actual figure, Kanuba, nicknamed Hyena. Tells his ethnicity, the city he's from, and the group or clan that he's a part of. And if you'd like to pause and read that, you can now. All right, that's that one. And we'll go ahead and let you look at the bio of this one as well. And let's go ahead and look at the bio that comes with this one as well. All right, let's break these guys open and check them out. And here's our set as we come to look at these new action figures as part of the XesRay brand. They're very similar in make and model to Mythic Legions, I'll say that. But first off here, we have Kanuba. He is looking awesome. I think he may be my favorite. And then we have Branthok. And he's cool. Awesome. And then we have Medicus. These are gladiators. And they look awesome. They just look so cool. So let's first look at their accessories. Now, obviously, you may collect these figures in their own right, and that may be who you collect. Or you may be a Mythic Legion collector, and these guys would fit in perfectly with Mythic Legions, both in scale, and we'll look at that in a little bit. But also, as you know, here at Motu Classics and Revelation figures reviews with Super Dave here, and other action figures, of course, we mostly compare things to Motu in the general scope of things, because I love Motu Classics and now Revelation, and these guys, I believe, go great with both, and we'll see that in comparisons. But here we have Branthok, and he comes first of all with this little dagger. I believe he has the ability to store that. We'll look at that in just a moment. He also comes with a fishnet, a really nice size fishnet. So he's a fisherman, and he comes with a pitchfork type weapon, a spear type pitchfork, and it's a good size pitchfork, good size spear pitchfork weapon. And so that's probably, I guess you would say, one of his main weapons here as far as his largest weapon. And then he comes with this, what looks to be kind of a leather apron with buckles and stuff, like a smith would wear, a blacksmith. And you can buckle those leather-like straps into those actual metal little buckles there. And so that's really neat, and it does have a leather look to it. Even though it's just some kind of cheap cloth, it does have a leather look to it. So that's really neat, really cool. And while we're in accessories, I'll go ahead and show you that this little dagger, check out that nice little sheath that's built into his loincloth belt area here. And that little dagger will slide right in there. And that is just a nice touch. Check out the brown handle on that. And then the leather looking, I mean, just quality looking materials here. Just very nice. Even the leather straps around his chest armor area here. The detail that you see on that big shoulder plate on the side. And of course, the wearing and the weathering of these metal looking armor pieces on his arm. Some brown there, some more leather, some almost leather-like wraps around his wrist and forearm for that gauntlet there. And you see almost a He-Man style, Master of the Universe style belt here in a loincloth area, which is literally cloth. Not literally, but it looks like cloth rather. And just really awesome looking action figure. Great head sculpt. Mine has an eye that's a little bit, I guess that's, looks like it's just a tad off center on his right eye, but overall it looks great. Looks like a good, and he's got like dirt, like he's been wrestling or, fighting, and he's got dirt or sweat, places, even on his head where he's not clean. I mean, he's got a weathered look, like he's been in battle. Even his beard has some dirt. He's got scars on him. You see his veins popping out everywhere. Just a really sharp looking action figure, this Branthock. So now let's look at Kanuba's accessories. I'm going to start with my least favorite accessory of his. That's this helmet. Almost looks like an old-fashioned, scuba going underwater type gear from a long, long time ago. But anyway, I mean, that covers his face completely. Of course, you can see his eyes through the holes there, but I don't know, these helmets are not my favorite style. But one of my favorite weapons that he comes with, next accessory, is this axe, and it's got scarring on it, that metal look with that nice metal, gunmetal rod coming all the way through, and then some leathering, like almost like a tennis racket, nice smooth leathering type texture on this handle with another gunmetal butt on the end there. But really neat. Look at the scarring in the metal, like it's been weathered and battle worn. There's this real looking axe blade type material going on in this axe. It's just really, really cool. Check it out. And then our Kanuba comes with this short sword, like a big knife, but I guess you would classify this as like a short sword. It's got a metallic silver blade with kind of a off-white wrap with kind of a wood butt on the end there, and it has some nice detail ingrained in that like wood. It's really cool. Reminds me of a knob on the end of a curtain hanger or something like that, but it's really neat, the design. Put a lot of detail in these figures. It's really nice. Does not have a place to store these, to store any of his weapons, but he does come with this awesome shield. Check it out. It's even got places where a sword has slashed on it. Isn't that cool? Huge shield. And it has those straps on the back, almost looks like wood, with some metal rivets, a bronze border, almost gold around the edge. Really cool. Really, really neat. Awesome, awesome. And then he comes with a spare arm, I guess to replace the metal one back there. He's got that metal arm on his right arm, and so he comes with it doesn't have a hand on the end, so you have to share that hand, but he comes with a bare arm, so that's really cool. Neat. And then finally he comes with what looks like kind of like a chef apron, a little cloth chef apron with a little snap on the top, buttons or snaps, and so that's pretty neat. I don't know exactly how that'll look on him, but we can check it out. I guess he's a cook. And that rounds out his accessories. Now let's look at Medaka's accessories. I really like Medaka's head sculpt. He's got that scar, and he looks like he's been in battle. He's got a little bit of smudging, not as much as the Branthock figure did, but he's really cool with that almost scarlet red with the leather belts all over it, loincloth area. He's got the leather wraps around his form with the metal gauntlet. And then he's got another one on this side with some armor. And but that is all sculpted on. Really cool. And he comes with these two short swords. One that's got kind of an angle that arches up here, and then one that actually has like a curve in it. Actually bends to the side, always like a pick of some kind. And either one of these could fit in his little sheath that he has back here in his loincloth. So you can install that on his back, similar to the way you could with Branthok. But here Medacus has a little loop in the back, and look, he's got tattoos. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not sure what they represent, but that's cool. He's got some tattoos on his back. And also Kanuba also had a tattoo, looks like a laughing hyena. That explains his nickname, Hyena, on his tattooed on his deltoid there, his shoulder muscle. And then Medacus comes with this helmet. But this helmet looks like something you would wear if you were sword fighting or fencing, but it's got that really neat detail on the top here. It looks almost like some kind of animal head, and then a lion head, some wings on the side, little rivets and symbols. Pretty cool looking. As far as its detail, it's just not my favorite look for these figures. Looks like a bonnet type thing over the side, but anyway, that's that accessory. And then one of my favorite accessories he comes with is really cool shield. Check that out. Look at the metallic metal and the design. It almost has a He-Man-esque looking, design to it, just a little bit more detail. And then it's got the straps, the brown leather type looking straps on the back. Of course, they're plastic, but that is just so cool. I love that shield. And then he comes, all of them have some little clothy part. This looks like a cloth cape with some tattered edges at the bottom, and it also has a snap here that you can snap, and it has a wiring around the top and along the edge. So this is definitely designed to be some kind of cape, but that's really cool. These are little bonuses that came with this 3-pack of Combatants Fight for Glory. And here we are back on our set as we've got them equipped with some of their weaponry here. And before we go and look at our Mythic Legion horse back there, we'll do some comparisons, of course. But first of all, let's go ahead and look at our Combatants Articulation. And since all three of them are almost identical in articulation, we'll look at our Kanuba. Look at his articulation. To take a look at our Kanuba's articulation here, let's first of all look at his head sculpt here. He's able to look up about that far. He's able to look down about that far, and it has that double dumbbell ball joint up in the head and the neck there, so you're going to be able to get good range. You'll be able to look, of course, back and forth, and he gets really good head pivot there. Really nice head pivot. Excellent, excellent. So you're going to be able to get a good range of motion. I love that. As far as his arms, he's going to get 90 degrees there, and there is kind of a bicep swivel up in there, that hidden type bicep swivel, kind of like Mythic Legions tries to do, but there's no true bicep swivel on these guys. He does have single jointed elbows, and these gauntlets, by the way, are removable. They slide right off, and there is detail. Of course, there's some paint scrubbing, but there is detail under here, like veins and musculature, as you can see there. Really cool. But these are removable on all of these figures. And he has a ball joint at the wrist, so he's going to get swivel and hinge in any direction that you need. Just need to turn it the right direction that you need it there, and it will get excellent range on those. So single jointed elbows. Now check this out. Excellent ball joint at the waist. I love this. This is what I wish that Masters of the Universe Classics had, because see, it looks about the same as Classics, but you still get the crunch forward, you still get the crunch back, but you also get some side to side and just get, you know, a more fluid range, and you're going to be able to go a little bit from side to side that way too. There is not a twist, I don't believe, at the waist. Do not believe, but you can get some twisting there. Just be careful. This plastic seems to be a little brittle, so just be careful with him. Then he's able to get full splits with those legs under there. As you can see, he's going to be able to kick better than 90 degrees. He's going to be able to go not much forward there. Gets double jointed knees, which is excellent. That's a good thing. They do have a on some of the figures like a boot cut, but this one doesn't seem to turn. One of them does, I think, at least one of them, but the ankle joint does turn. But be careful with this as well. You're going to be able to go up with that foot about that much. You're going to be able to go back a good amount there, down I should say, tiptoe type, but not all the way. And then you are going to get some rockers, but be very careful, and I'll explain to you why in just a moment. Now this one, it does have a swivel at the ankle, which that's interesting because I don't see, unless it's stuck, I don't think that swivels here, but it does on some of the others. Okay, but there is the articulation. Now let me just go over some of the minor changes, or differences I should say, between these, and I will show you first of all that you pop out. All right, I was able to pull that arm out, but I had to use the hair dryer trick because I'm telling you what, that is a tight fit. I was afraid I was going to break that peg. So be very careful. You might need to heat it up. But then you have this other arm, this bare arm, and it should plug right on in to that socket there. All right, I was able to finally pop that in, but it took a lot of pressure to pop that in to that joint, and it makes a pop sound that you know it's locked in good, and then you have the same articulation. But let me tell you why I was saying you have to be careful with these joints, especially the feet. I could not get this guy to stand. As you see, I had to use a peg stand, and they do have peg holes at the bottom. But when I was trying to maneuver his ankle joint with the rocker joint and everything, it literally snapped at the peg underneath here. It broke very, very easily. I mean, I wasn't putting that much pressure because I just could not get this guy to stand on his own. So this is some very brittle plastic. I don't know if it was weak there or if all of them are like that. I just don't know, but I would just advise you to be very careful when you're posing. Maybe even heat up the joints a little bit, because I'm going to have to glue and maybe even, you know, put a little steel rod, real small steel rod in between there just to join those back together and heal that ankle there on him, repair that ankle. But he's still looking good. He can still stand with this peg stand here, my NECA little action figure stand, but just keep that in mind. And now let's do some comparisons. First of all, let's look at our Canuba with some Mythic Legions, and they're about the same height here with Fonus here, except his antlers are a little high coming up there, but you see how good they look there. Here's a warrior woman that's with Mythic Legions as well. Really cool. I think they match up perfect together in height and in build and in quality and in look. You could literally say almost that these came from the same line. I mean, they are that close matched, and they even have similar articulation. I would dare say that in some respects, the new XesRay Combatants Fight for Glory series here, they have a little better articulation when it comes to that diaphragm, that you know, ball joint at the rib cage. I love that. But otherwise, you see how well they match up here. And then here is our Branthok and Canuba here with Battle Armor He-Man from Motu Classics, and I'm telling you, I think they work. I mean, they could go alongside each other and fight for sure, and there's no problems. I mean, they really match up good. And then here is our Canuba with Masters of the Universe Revelation He-Man over here on the left, and I think they match up fine. I mean, He-Man is a little taller, but I think they actually do okay here. Now I have said that the He-Man here does have a little bit of an animated look, but I think you can pass it off in photos if you mix up these characters. And then there's Hebrew with the Word of God there, the Bible. He's going to introduce that to Kanuba if he hasn't heard of the Lord. But there you have it. I think Kanuba and Hebrew really looks good. I like the matte finish. And here's our Kanuba next to Panthro from Thundercats. And he's a classics figure as well. And then here is Super 7's Arnold Schwarzenegger inspired Conan with the sword. And there's classics Battlefield Tila behind him. They match up great together here. Again, you got some of that shine issue here compared to this nice matte skin look there. But he's just been sweating and running and a little glazy. But they look great. You could photo these together. You could definitely take photos with these. It looks good. And then here is our Kanuba next to our Hot Ryu by Storm's Collectible. And then there is the Axe Battler from Storm Collectibles. And I think they look great. Now, Axe Battler is taller than a lot of the classics and, of course, these figures here as well. But I still love matching these guys up because the dragon goes so well with He-Man, the Masters Universe, and the medieval and mythos of the whole time period of fantasy. And this guy just goes along with it, I believe. I like him anyway, and he matches with that skin tone like we were talking about as far as that matte finish look like Storm Collectibles is famous for in the articulation. But overall, these guys match up good together. Yeah, he's a little taller, about a head taller, but people are taller than other people. And so the Axe Battler is just particularly big, strong, and tall. But they would make a good match, and I think that Kanuba could probably give him a run for his money. There's Kanuba next to Classics Fisto and Revelations Mossman. And I think, again, these look great together. I think they can match up. If you had left the metal arm on Kanuba, he would have had that in common with Fisto there, except he don't have a metal fist. He just had a metal arm looking thing. Or maybe that was an armor that can be removed. But anyway, I like the bare arm. But there we have it. They look great together. I like this look. They fit, they match, they go great together here. And then finally, last but not least, here is Kanuba and these other combatants next to one of the taller Marvel Legends figures here. I think he goes good with Motu because of the way he looks. He's got the leather on his legs and stuff. He looks cool. I'm not sure exactly who this figure is, but I thought he looked good with Motu. And then also there is the William Stout He-Man. And he has that realism that these characters share with him. So I think they match up good. He's a little taller, maybe about half an inch, but if he was standing up straight, but he's got that realism with his buckles and his armor kind of like they do. So I think that this William Stout He-Man goes perfect with the Combatant Fight for Glory series here. Really cool. So there you have it. We're going to be taking a look at photos with these characters, but first let's go look at our Mythic Legion horse right quick. Now this is not much to look at as far as the box. It just says Mythic Legion logo. It's got that fiery looking horse on that side. It's got a picture of this horse's head on that side, and then on the back it has that fiery looking demonic looking fella back there, and a write-up about some of the Mythic Legion story. But let's break open this box and check out our Mythic Legion's horse. And here is our Mythic Legion horse right out of the package, and isn't he a beauty? Oh wow, so nice. Look at the detail. Looks so realistic. The saddle system, as they call it, they consider that an accessory. Comes with a shield. He comes with a sword, so you can certainly have those accessories with a figure, and they slide right in to the little positions there, as well as having the shield could go right there, so you can store those right on the horse. That's why it comes with that. And you can give these figures, you can give these accessories to whatever figure you want to. But that is so cool. So that's his accessories. No reason to spend a lot of time there. Let's go ahead and look at this guy's articulation. Okay, so taking a look at his articulation, we're going to see that his head is a little bit on a ball joint. It is going to be able to look up that much. It's going to be able to look down all the way. And then he is going to be able to get some, I guess you'd call it pivot back and forth. He's not going to be able to turn all the way and look either way, but he is going to get to be able to turn some. His neck is on a ball joint, so you see he gets good range. He's going to be able to go that way some and that way some. So that's excellent. So he'll be able to, you know, turn that way and turn that way, and it will go down some at that neck joint as well. And this collar right here is just kind of a loose floating piece, so it doesn't get in the way. Just have to position it after you move it where you want to. And so that's really good. See the good range of motion there that he has. This mane is kind of a floating piece that can be maneuvered as well to kind of get out of the way if you need to. And that's really cool. It's got the harnesses just like, you know, the bit for his mouth. I mean, just like a real horse, just really neat. The ears are not articulated, I don't think. Nope. All right, moving on to his legs. You're not going to get any spreading out like we did with Motoro, but you will be able to go forward that far. You'll be able to go back that far. You'll be able to bend at the knee that far and even hyperextend it a little bit, and that does rotate. And this one rotates as well a little bit up here. And then you're going to be able to get like an ankle bend. And I do not believe that rotates, no. And it's like little hooves there. All right, so you do get, you go up that far and back that far, and you see there's a little bit of a, I guess you call that a bicep swivel right there. There is no articulation in the torso area, which I hate that. I wish there was, but that's okay. You know, kind of like Battle Cat had that. But he does spread, if you want to look at back in there, he does spread out like that and goes in a little bit as well. So you can click together those heels and then go out a little bit. So that's going to give you some good stance. He's going to be able to go out that far so you can kick somebody. He'll be able to defend himself. Go forward about that much. He does have like that bicep swivel or thigh swivel there, and he's able to bend forward really good amount, better than 90. Hyperextends just a hair and is able to rotate again at that thigh and at that knee, and then has a little bend at the knee that will not go forward but will go back about that much, and that does not rotate. So that is excellent articulation. I think you're going to be able to get the poses you need. That tail is on a hinge and a swivel, so it'll swivel back and forth and hinge up and down, so you'll be able to get that position anywhere you want. And that little knapsack does peg out of the saddle there, so you can just peg that back in. But really cool. Now let's do some comparisons in our photos. We'll just let this guy speak for himself as we look at him with different action figures posed up riding our horse. And especially Motu Classics and Revelation, and even these new guys that we saw today from XesRay Studios. And thank you so much for joining us. Before we go to photos, please like, subscribe, and comment below and let us know if you enjoyed this review, and come back and check out another video soon. Thank you and God bless. Here are those photos.